This is Tuna on Toast.
Hey, hey.
God, be real.
What's good, bro?
Everything's good. I mean, I live right here in LA. You're probably not far away yet. I'm sad we're not in the same room, but this still rules, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. We just been working lately, new music, bunch of shows, and I've been podcasting for, all this time. When I'm home, that's what I'm doing. If I'm not recording, I'm podcasting.
So you are a really, really good host. You and I crossed paths more than 20 years ago, where, of course, everyone knows you as a musician and you would jump on all these different radio shows. How do you like hosting? And you've been doing it for a long time. Like you're the captain of a ship with people on a show. Do you like it?
I freaking hate it. No, I'm just kidding. No, my bandmate Eric Bobo,
Yes,
as
Lobo.
you know very well, him and I hosted a radio show years back. I think from 1997 to about 99 or something like that. And
What
we
station?
sort of
A-Day?
it was 92.3 The
The
Beat.
Beat. All right. Okay.
So,
Theo was the afternoon host
yeah,
then.
Theo was the afternoon guy. My man Julio G, who actually became one of our DJs on tour for a good 10-year stretch. He was also on The Beat. He was a host of the West Side Radio and 9 o'clock bomb, right? And so I got in with those guys, and Bobo and I start hosting a radio show on Friday nights for 3 years, and we were the top rated show,
Yep.
which was awesome. But that's where we realized the importance of a platform. And when live streaming came on, I was already off radio because I was done with the politics at the station.
Sure.
So streaming came along and I got into that. And I just took what I learned from broadcasting on actual radio and took it over to the live stream. Only difference is the visual. You can't, you're not like it's not like you're using the power of suggestion, or having people use their imagination. They can see you right there, and that's it. So that's the one thing I had to get used to, is actually being in front of the camera live all the time, and getting that run. But we have lots of fun,
You
certain
do. You're
days.
so good at it, man. I'm like jealous, and also, I don't really like you that much anymore because you're so goddamn eloquent at it. But even though people can see you and they can see me nowadays, it's not like we're up here doing magic tricks. The
Right.
words matter in the order that they fly out of your mouth, and the word economy that you use to make each word count.
That's right. A lot of us in the hip hop game, we weren't really groomed for doing radio, or even being able to articulate what our songs were about. Like other genres sort of groomed them, like in the 50s and 60s, Motown would groom their artists and stuff like that. And a lot of other labels groomed them to be able to present themselves a certain way, speak to their music, and speak to their music in interviews and all this other stuff. But hip hop wasn't really like that. It was something we had to learn hands on. A lot of us didn't want to be on camera. We hated doing videos, but they were the necessary evil, right? Um, and some of us, we found that we had talents in these other areas that we didn't even think about before. I mean, because I wasn't even thinking about broadcasting. And salute to Michelle S., who was program director at before she came to the beach. She was over in the Bay Area, over at what's the other spot down there? It's
The Bay Area.
yeah. Why can't I remember it
She
right
only
now?
played 50 of your songs.
It's the it's the sister station of Power 106. Camille. There you go.
Okay,
She was
KMBL.
she was the program director there, and she asked me if I'd like to do a Sunday morning show down there. So Bobo and I would truck it down there and do the show. And we got used to doing it. When she came to LA, she brought us to LA, and we just, again, we took those tools that we learned from all that, put it into the live streaming. But it was something I wasn't intending to do. It wasn't like on my radar, like to be a broadcaster. But
Right.
I realized
You're
the
good.
power of the platform. So,
Sure. Exactly.
yeah.
Be real, for a majority of my personal life before I became a host, and even while I've been on the radio and podcasts and I've been on TV and all that, people would say to me, "Oh, there's this new band, you have to see them." So I'd go to the Roxy or the Troubadour and I would see them. For you guys, Cypress Hill in like 90 or 91, what were you guys doing live shows then? And is that how people found you, or were songs being passed around? Because I still not even sure how that happened for you.
It was a combination of both, right? On one end, our snippet tape that had some of the songs, like, labels used to put out snippet tapes and stuff like that. And EPMD and Public Enemy and Ice Cube got their hands on the snippet tape, and they were telling people and other artists about us and stuff like that. So on that end, we had the word of mouth from people we looked up to, and we didn't even know it till later, till other artists were telling us, "Hey, man, I got put on to you guys by EPMD or Chuck D or Ice Cube." Those were the three people we kept hearing about, and it was like, wow, they're talking about us. And the other aspect was we were doing a lot of showcases at that point, promo shows, and we did a fair share of those and made an impression, good or bad. There was one that we did up on what's that place called? I think it's called Three Palms. It's off the 60 freeway or the 10, one of the two. And it was a club on the east side and whatnot. And someone told us that there was a competition talent show, whatever. So we went, and we didn't have any of our demos like on cassette, vinyl, anything. Muggs would just take the drum machine, program what the song actually was going to end up being later. And I remember we did Real Estate
Mm.
on one night, and there was a singing group, there was another rap group, and there might have been three rap groups and one singing group that was trying to be like New Edition. We called them the Tootsie Rolls because that's what they looked like. Um,
Ah,
and so they did their thing and they sounded pretty good. But again, it was a imitation of New Edition,
sure.
which we didn't appreciate. Um, we
Right.
were
There's
very
only
raw.
one rock, Ricky, Bobby, Robbie, Ronnie, Bobby,
That's
Ricky,
right.
and Mike. If you love the girl, who cares who she likes? You're only one of them.
That's right. Yeah, and then you add Johnny later, so you know what
Right.
I'm
There
saying?
you go.
There was only one new edition, and so our whole purpose was just to kick them in the ass, with the performance. We didn't have nothing against them physically or whatever, but so we're doing Real Estate, and there's this big table. There's a line of judges lined up on the table, and it's a flimsy wooden table.
Right.
And we were very punk rock as a hip hop group. We still are, but we were very much more so then. Sendog on his verse jumps on top of the table, right in the middle where there's a female judge sitting in the middle. And he grabs his crotch, jumps off the table, and the table breaks right in her lap. It was very punk rock. We lost that night,
Right.
but
Only because of the broken table.
we made the biggest impression. But we were doing stuff like that, just being really off the chain and doing wild shit. Oh, excuse me, sorry.
You can curse
We were
on
doing
here. No,
wild
you can
stuff.
you can curse on this show.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll try to keep it in control. But we were doing stuff like that, bunch of showcases and just getting out there. And people started taking note to our shows because we do wild things and not necessarily we weren't necessarily polished. We were very raw, but I guess entertaining. And just words started getting around through those guys playing our snippet tapes and people seeing the shows that we were doing up to that point.
Very cool that EPMD and East Coast group, Chuck D, one of the greatest voices and most powerful humans in music of all time, still on the East Coast. Ice Cube, West Coast. It wasn't like, I mean, you guys were enjoyable to anybody who was listening. I think it was a combination of the music, your voices, the messaging. That had to feel so good at that time to be recognized by these. I mean, these are powerful people
Oh
in the
yeah.
business, man.
Absolutely, because Public Enemy was one of our biggest influences. So to hear that he had it early and he was telling other people about it, and then for him to tell us that he heard about us through EPMD, who we also, you know, we love EPMD. I mean, that's sort of where we got our bucket hats from. I mean, it's crazy because when you look at Cypress Hill, our connection to EPMD and Public Enemy is really it's really strong because I mean, EPMD, they were the East Coast group that came with like the funk in terms of their music, and it sounded more LA-ish, and a lot of LA people loved EPMD out here. We like got the idea for our bucket hats from them. And as I've often said, as it related to Public Enemy, we looked at how the dynamics of their voices would flip. You have the strong, low baritone in Chuck D and the high pitched voice of Flavor and how they, interact with each other. And we did it in reverse, as Cypress Hill with my voice as that high pitch thing, like the Flav type of tone, I guess, and Sen as the background with the Chuck D type of forceful voice and whatnot, and it worked out for us. I mean, we didn't talk the same thing. We didn't talk about the same things that Public Enemy was talking about, but they were very much an influence, even towards the production of our music. Um, because we were all very much big fans of the Bomb Squad, so those two groups were everything to us. And then Ice Cube, he was somebody that I very much looked up to as he is the guy, right? In California and Los Angeles, I thought he was our main dude. The way that people kind of look at Snoop Dogg now,
Yeah.
but in a different way, and I always put myself right there, like I need to be as good as this guy. This guy is the guy, is the template that I need to follow in terms of where I need to be as a writer, as an MC, and all that stuff. So to hear these three entities, like talking about us, telling others about us, and then, building the friendship with them, throughout the years, uh, I never would have called that. I mean, yeah, Ice Cube and I had our rocky times for a minute, but we were able to get past that and, bury the hatchet, become friends again, uh, do shows, do music. And he was just on my podcast yesterday. So
All
salute to
that.
Ice Cube.
Yep.
And, and I thought that showed growth between two men that were very young at the time and we were beefing and a lot of things were said about each other and a lot of craziness. But, we were able to talk it out
Good.
and put it behind us and become friends and show people that you can mend the fences and work together and do all these great things. So salute to Ice Cube and salute to EPMD and Public Enemy, man. Those three, I could never say thank you enough to.
Do you find it intriguing? Do you find it silly? Like, what do you think of? And I'm not deep into the weeds on the beef between Drake and Kendrick. I really love the Kendrick song. I know the words to it, but it doesn't matter that there's a beef. I just love that song.
Yeah, it's
But
a
what
great song.
a great record. I mean, just what a song. Like, do you have a take on that?
I like both of them. I like Kendrick more, because he is very dope. To me, his skill set is on that Eminem level thing, And Drake is dope too, I get down with some of Drake's music and stuff like that, but was highly entertained by this beef. Every now and then hip hop needs a good beef, but it was pretty much lopsided because Kendrick has been winning on every level. I mean, when you think about he hit him at the Super Bowl with the line,
Right.
millions watching and listening. That was a win. And then
The Grammy Award for
the
like
Gram
record of the year, song of the year.
the Grammy Awards, and then you had Conan on the Oscars,
Right.
on every major platform, people were using the line, and not necessarily trying to diss Drake, but get a reaction, a funny moment from it. And yeah, um, at Drake's expense, man. But um, I thought it was dope, but it's one sided. Kendrick got him, and what I think Drake should do is just take the L like sometimes we have to take and let it breathe and just go make great music because he does make great music. Trying to extend this and make it more hasn't necessarily worked out
Not
for
the
him.
best move.
No,
That
no.
those three words you said, take a beat or take a breath. I
Yeah.
think that's so important in a relationship with somebody, in an interview, in a conversation, in a beef, when things are going great. Take a breath, take a beat.
Yeah. Hey, more people need to do that before they make decisions.
Yes. Do you think there's any possibility that you and Chuck D and Tom and Timmy C and Brad will do another Prophets of Rage song?
Oh my God.
What? Oh boy.
Oh man, probably not.
Okay.
I well, I shouldn't say that because anything's possible. I mean, we all got love for each other. Do I like the way that certain things went towards the end? No, I would imagine a couple of the other guys would say the same. But like, I got love for Tom Morello. He's a genius, and you know, I respect him thoroughly. So like, if he did call and say, "Hey, I think this is the time," I might consider it. I might consider it. I mean, we have a lot on our plate, but I had a lot on my plate when that came through, and I saw the I saw the importance of the moment to get with these guys and how special it was when we were rocking together. We had a chemistry that none of us realized we had. I mean, we were all good friends, and Prophets of Rage as a group sounded great on paper, but we didn't know until we actually got out there what we had. And then in realizing what we had, we also recognized chemistry with each other, which is what started us to make the actual music for the group, and creating original songs and stuff, and trying to um, as we went along, lean less on Rage catalog and create our own catalog and stuff like that. So it's just a shame we didn't get to do more of it because I think we had a really great momentum and people were like excited about what we were doing,
Yeah.
only to, sort of get derailed by
Yeah.
what we all know had
Right.
happened.
Right.
Um, yeah, I have some special feelings towards certain people in the circle as it relates to that, but it ain't nothing that I can't get over because I'm a God-fearing person, and I know that if I want to be forgiven for all my crap that I've ever done in my life, I got to be forgiving as well. So I can forgive and let it roll. So I don't know. I mean, it's a possibility. I don't know where Chuck's at on it because Chuck is very busy. He's doing a lot of stuff, and truth be told, doing the Prophets of Rage is very taxing. It's like it's like I would liken it to an NBA game. There's so much output of energy happening on stage amongst all of us. And Chuck being one of the oldest of us, Chuck and Tom, it's a lot of output, but the guy still goes. Shit, I seen him in Chicago. The new band that they're using
Yeah.
with Public Enemy, they sounded amazing. Flav and Chuck were bouncing around on stage. So physically, I think he could do it. Whether he has the time to do it or not, which is the thing. But I mean, I could see it happening. I don't know whether it's gonna happen, but I could see it happening because we did some important things, and a lot of people still hit us up like, "Hey, when it's time for you guys to put this back together again. We all know that Rage ain't coming back, so you guys got to come back." And I'm like, I'm only one of them, of one of the guys. The other guys have to come to the table. So yeah, I would be open to it, but I would have to definitely think about it, and a conversation would have to happen amongst us to clear some air.
Well, I was there at the very first Prophets of Rage show,
Yes.
blasting you guys, and I saw that chemistry, the output of energy that all of you had on stage. We could feel it. It was not an easy gig, but what is easy in life? Nothing really is.
Yeah,
But
no.
I only asked not because of any like, oh, let me get some beef, but more of the love of the music
Oh,
I have for all of those things that you created, plus when you did some of the older songs from both the bands. It was just
yeah.
really a great
That
experience,
was
man.
man, that was so fun, man, to be able to create our own music together and then celebrate the three groups' music,
Right.
right? Like doing
Yeah.
the Rage stuff, doing the Public Enemy and Cypress stuff. That was like no other experience ever, man. I got to tell you, I've been doing this for 32 years with Cypress Hill, and I've had some really great moments with my brothers. But I'll tell you, the Prophets of Rage time definitely was very special, man. Like the shows and just being around my mentor Chuck D and being around Tom. I always had this crazy respect for Tom, and I always will. So it was great to be around them. And, Brad is the nicest guy ever.
Yeah.
It's you cannot say a bad thing about Brad, and I never will. He's a very good dude. Timmy, it's challenging to be around Timmy. Um, but I got love for him. It's just challenging, but there's just the chemistry amongst us that was undeniable,
Right.
and I know a lot of people miss it, and I think deep down those guys miss it as Chuck and I and Lord do, and we talk about it often. So I mean, I would imagine nothing is impossible, you
Okay.
know. Will it happen? I cannot say that, but I don't think it's impossible.
Shout out to DJ Lord. Love that guy, by the way.
Oh
Speaking
man.
speaking of chemistry, Cypress Hill with the London Symphony Orchestra, which will be in theaters on 3 separate days. The full-length album drops June 7th. Okay. How
Yes.
the hell was that? This is a broad question. How was the experience for that show with them?
Man, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was at first, going into the rehearsal was slightly intimidating. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Because
Yeah.
here you are with musicians of, I mean, on such a incredible level of artistry that like, I couldn't believe we were there. And for it to actually happen, and because we had been talking about it for years after the Simpsons. After the Simpsons, Muggs was like, well, maybe we should do it, and then he announced it somewhere. But then we started going on tours and stuff like that, and we sort of just went away from the idea. And then RZA goes and does it with Wu-Tang, and we're like, well, that was our idea, we should have did it.
Right.
And then a year or two pass, and a post happens on what is now X, used to be Twitter, about London Symphony Orchestra posting that Simpsons thing, right? And then we reposted it, and then we talked about the what if. We're like, hey, what if we actually did this? And the conversation started from there. They told us what we would need to do unless we wanted them to do it, which was write out the music and chart it, which is the hardest part.
Mhm.
And we were trying to figure out the ways to get that done, and what it was going to actually cost to make a show happen with London Symphony Orchestra. It's not easy and it's not cheap,
Give me a
but we
ballpark on how much that costs.
oh man,
How many pieces in the band were there? Like 30 something people, right?
yeah, over 30, definitely over 30.
And a conductor, or you guys can like,
No, we had when we started, we were using this guy named Chris Dragon, excellent conductor. But when we went to London, they had a guy named Troy Miller that had conducted things there with other people, but he definitely stepped up and said, I want to be the one that conducts this, and I want to change a couple things of what you have on your charts. I want to make it darker. And we were like, we're all about darker. As a matter of fact, like that was one of our notes, like in going into London, would they be able to make some changes and make what we have a little bit darker so that it matches the moment. We don't want anything too bright and too up, because that wasn't really us at the time. And we wanted to sort of get that vibe. And Troy Miller, like he came and kicked ass on the arrangements. And so when we got there, we sort of knew what musical arrangements were happening. But again, until you sit in with them and hear them playing this, and we didn't use any track to this. This is all organic. Bobo
wow,
played the drums
wow.
through the whole thing. And, we had Christian O.D. Wolbers, who you know very well. He played in our band way back. He came and played stand up through the whole thing. and we had well, in the beginning we had keyboard Money Mark, but he couldn't necessarily make it to the UK. But based on the notes in the charts, we had their keyboard player, doing stuff, and it just it came together so well. They thought they were going to play the track because I guess you know other hip hop artists that have done symphonies, they use track, and the symphony usually plays over it. And you could never get into the right key and tunings this way. And we knew that based off of that album was a lot of samples sped up or slowed down, and it changes tunings. They wouldn't be able to change those tunings. So we were like, we're going to do everything straight organic, no track. And that was the cool thing, because that was something that we had never done before, man. But they gave us a great experience. They embraced us. We didn't know if they were going to be like snooty with us and like these rappers. And nah, a lot of them were fans that had grown up to our music, but playing classical music and stuff like that. And some of them we actually built friendships with and stuff like that. So when we go back, we'll be playing with a couple of them again. But the craziest thing was that so in all these orchestras we've been doing leading up to the LSO, with the guys that were playing guitar, there were always songs they had difficulties with, like Kill a Man. They couldn't get like the chorus part, and they would make up a line to try to for it to be similar.
Right.
And in other songs, they didn't necessarily get some of the guitar parts. It sounded good. You would never know. It's just something we noticed, right? Like, oh, well, the line's like this, and he played it like this. But when we got to London, the guitar player over there, he was older than any of the other guitar players that we had had on the other symphonies. And the old guy played everything to the T. Hits
Oh,
from the bong. He played the
yeah,
the Dusty Springfield guitar lick there perfectly. We got to Kill a Man. He played the chorus because I don't want to mention the sample, but he played it.
right.
He played it beautifully. He was the only one that really did the homework on the actual lines. And we're like, damn, we need to take this old guy on tour with us. But
Hey,
yeah,
old people rule, man. Some of the best coaches in the NFL are the oldest ones right now. Best rappers are the oldest ones.
that's right.
Mediocre hosts, oldest ones.
That's right. Experience,
Yes,
baby.
yes. Damn, man. How exciting. In 1996, when the Homer Palooza episode dropped of The Simpsons and you guys were in it, before, was it a tough yes for the band? Like, you guys got the offer. Did you have 5,000 emails or calls back and forth in 96 when should we do it? Should we not do it? Or was it immediate? Hell yeah.
It was immediate hell yeah, because
Yeah, nice.
most of us were fans of The Simpsons. Bobo and I were definitely fans, and so we got the importance of being on The Simpsons. We're like, hell yeah, let's do it. And we didn't have any clue on what it would turn into. We thought it was a great episode. It was funny. Um, and now we were going to be in Simpsons lore forever. You know what I mean?
Nice.
But we did not anticipate like creating something from it like this. Like, oh well, Cypress Hill with an orchestra. That's something. And then, we were like, well, why not do it with the London Symphony Orchestra, like in the thing? And we didn't think they were going to take it serious. We were throwing out ideas as young men. We didn't, but they took us serious, and they thought it would be a great thing. And so when we were able to make this happen and go out and do this at the Royal Albert Hall, it was like a historic moment for them and us. Us that were actually playing with them, and we're playing in Royal Albert Hall, which we've never played before. And this is like one of those sacred places of entertainment out there. And this was the London Symphony's home. This is where they do most of their performances. And so to be able to like go there and do it with them there and perform in their house, which was so historical, and we sold it out like top to bottom, and people that normally come to Cypress Hill shows that are used to the mosh pits or the stage diving and the crowd surfing, they all found a way to like still have that crazy energy and have a good time. They were one of the loudest crowds that we ever had. And when people see the film, they'll experience this, like, because this is all hip hop fans coming to a freaking orchestra and just having a great time. It was awesome. Like
Congratulations.
a lot of shows that we've done, people always ask what were the biggest shows, and we'll always say like Woodstock and Saturday Night Live and things like that. And now, Royal Albert Hall with London Symphony Orchestra, definitely one of the highlights.
Congratulations, Be Real. That's so exciting. Again, in theaters March 30th, 31st, and then April 2nd, and then the album drops on June 6th. Speaking of Saturday Night Live, are you if in 1993, are you really banned from SNL or no?
Okay, so I know that we are banned.
We just did John Mulaney's thing. I know he doesn't run SNL, but he was a former cast member. But
Yeah,
okay, are you banned or not banned?
I believe we are. I believe the ban list is still in effect. But if you watch the SNL 50 music thing that they
Watched it.
have on Peacock,
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
Lauren Michaels says no one's banned. But I don't believe that. I love Lauren Michaels, and I'm a big Saturday Night Live fan. Still to this day, I watch, never stopped watching, even though we got banned, because I understand it. Our whole thing was we were gonna get banned regardless, and that was sort of the move for us. We were gonna get banned on purpose. Um, but it would be awesome to go back and do it again, because I mean we love Saturday Night Live, we love Lauren Michaels, we love the whole culture of Saturday Night Live. So if we aren't banned, we'd love to come back, and if we are banned, we'd like to be unbanned and come back,
It is a
because since
perfect
then
timing.
it's since then marijuana has become legal in many places, and some of their sketches have been cannabis related, so I don't see why not. But yeah, yeah, we are banned.
But let's get you unbanned, as you just said. Lorne Michaels, probably going to see this. He's a big Tuna on Toast and Ted Stryker fan. I've
Let's
heard him for
go.
years. Let's go. Cypress Hill back on. You can light up a joint. And if you guys don't know why Cypress was banned, I think it was they said, guys, please don't smoke weed during the performance. Don't do it. Don't do it. And then in the second song, was it you or Muggs or both of you that
It
lit
was
up?
it was mugs, see, because the whole
Okay.
plan was this. We were gonna wait till the last song, and then we were gonna destroy our set. We were gonna, like, do like the Who, right? Because we were doing that on tour. That was like our big thing. At the end of every show, we would take Muggs's turntables and just trash them. Sometimes we'd light it on fire. We were really wilding out. So we were like, well, let's put this visual onto Saturday Night Live. And then at the end, we'll smoke. We'll all pull out our joints and smoke like it's the aftermath, like the after sex cigarette type
Sure.
of thing, right? So I think that one of the Sony reps had heard us going over it and kept going to Muggs and saying to Muggs, which was the last person they should have went to. They would have probably been better off coming to me. But they kept going to Muggs, hey, please don't smoke. Don't smoke. Please, you can't smoke. Don't do it. And Muggs, instead of waiting till the end, he said, well, forget that. I'm doing it right now. And so it threw everything in motion off. Cause like the DJ that we had up there, he wasn't a real DJ. He was just standing in there so that Muggs could be out front with us and then do the thing. Cause Muggs was actually supposed to be back there. And at the time when dude was supposed to start throwing the turntables down on the ground, he choked because he got nervous that
Oh,
Muggs lit the joint. He didn't know if they were going to stop us. So he just kind of choked up on like taking the turntable and throwing it down. So that's why you see Muggs go over to Bobo and he shoves Bobo's congas. Bobo goes from playing like a four-piece to like now there's just one thing there. And it ruined it ruined the way we were supposed to do that. But the important part of it was that they caught Muggs smoking the joint. They said I couldn't smoke my joint. I ain't going out like that. Boom. And that became everything. But like, yeah, if it had gone to plan, we were getting banned anyway. It would have just been a delivery at the end as opposed to at the front of the song.
Right. Okay. I think
Yeah.
an unbanning is going to happen, but it is pretty cool. There's not a lot of bands, groups who were banned from SNL. So I think you're in some really good company there.
Yeah, yeah. Sinead O'Connor, Rage Against the Machine, to name a
System, I
couple.
think System got banned.
System, yeah.
Okay, last couple of things here, be real. I care about this stuff just like similarly someone cares about they find a young athlete and they can't wait till they get in the Hall of Fame because you were there early. Cypress Hill, and I'm on record with this. I say this all the time on the radio and on my podcast. I'm upset that you're not on the ballot yet for the Hall of Fame. It's okay if you don't get the votes the first year,
Right,
but
right.
you're a group, and I don't need to give you the stats, but for those watching or listening, like at one point, you're the first rap group to have two albums simultaneously in the top 10. There's numerous records that you have or had cross genres, still doing it to this day as big as ever. I really think it's a misstep by the Rock Hall of Fame not having you on the ballot yet.
Yeah, I've heard that from many, and I'm man, I thank people for that kind of love because like that's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is not something we thought that they would ever let us in the first place. So, we try not to think about it, but like because I'm a student of music and I follow all these different genres and I am a voting member in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Not in the induction, but not in the induction, but the nominee thing, you know what I mean? Where we get like the people that we feel we should nominate into for possible induction.
Okay.
So I'm a voting member there, but like none of us ever speak on stuff like that. But I mean, I look at it like this: it took Rush 40 years to get in,
Insane. Right.
which was ridiculous. I think that they let a lot of people in throughout the years that don't necessarily meet the criteria that they set forth, even, and some of us that do meet that criteria, we sort of get overlooked because they want to put in these older legends of music, and even if they only had one big song which baffles me because they hold us to a different standard. But I feel like eventually, we'll get in when we get in, and when we do, we'll accept.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do a Neil Peart type of speech over there. Who knows? His was the greatest. Or no, it was Alex. Sorry, it was Alex's speech.
Ray,
When
give me,
when
give me,
Rush
yeah.
when Rush got inducted, Geddy Lee came and said some words eloquently. So did Neil Peart. But Alex, when he went up there and he was like, blah 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 blah. And that shit went on for like 3 minutes of him like not saying anything, but everybody knew what he was saying. Like
Right. Right.
took them 40 years to recognize us.
Insane.
And
Insane.
so he gave him that. It was classic. So who knows? Maybe I'll give him that when we get up there. I don't know, but it is what it is. I've been trying to get on the induction board forever so that you know some younger blood can get in there and make some changes and put some people in there that really deserve to be in there. I mean, not saying that the people that they put in these recent years don't deserve it. They absolutely do, but there's got to be other options. And I mean, look how long it took LL to get on. He had been on so many, and no one pushed it through. And Chuck was one of the guys like, "Hey, man, how do we not have LL in here yet?" And finally, he got in there, well deserving. You know what I mean? And Tribe Called Quest just got in, and yeah, it's sort of discerning when you see groups that haven't done what you have get in before you.
Sure. Which is
But
why I use my voice. Not that, I'm just a
I
big
hear
fan.
you.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good.
I
Good.
hear you. I feel the same way. But we're just going to be patient, and when it happens, it'll happen. It's just sort of like the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Right.
We didn't anticipate that happening, and then it ended up happening, and we're like, oh wow, okay, yeah. So I think it'll be in a time where we're not even thinking about it.
You'll have a
So we'll
tennis
see
ball on
that.
a walker coming right out. Here's B Real.
Yeah. Roll me out,
Right.
guys.
Last thing, I promise. Last thing. I love this kind of stuff. I'm going back to 1994 for the best rap performance by a duo or group. These are your nominees: Arrested Development, Revolution, Cypress Hill, Insane in the Brain, Dre and Snoop, Nothing But a G Thing, Naughty by Nature, Hip Hop Array, Diggable Planets, Rebirth of Slick. That's a stacked category in 1994.
That's the Grammys.
That's the Grammys.
Yeah,
Do you remember who won that year?
sure do.
Who was
Diggable
it?
Planets.
If we went and revoted today, is it still Diggable Planets?
I love Diggable Planets, but no. Um, Grammys is a funky thing. You know what I mean? It's much like the Oscars. You got to be willing to play the game with them, and if you're not, then they're like out of here, right? So we got asked to perform for that Grammys, and we were very rebellious at that time. We were like, "Nah, we're not gonna play in front of suits. We're not. We're just not gonna do it." And they, in turn, went and got Diggable Planets. They played.
Uh,
They left home with the Grammy.
went home with.
So for me, I think that was the indication that they were gonna give it to us, but we refused to play. So they're like, well, we'll give it to somebody else. At least that's my take on it, because I don't think anybody had the year that we had at that
No,
point. We,
not at all.
yeah, I mean, and we thought that if we did lose, and we didn't think we were going to win in the first place, but we thought if we did lose to anybody, it would have been Dre for the Chronic.
Right, and Nothing But a
And
G Thing, specifically that song nominated.
yeah,
So
and
yeah,
so we know that the three groups had the strongest records, and Arrested Development was having a great year too. But I really thought it would go to Dre, but it went to Diggable, who actually performed. And I often told people, in my circle and other artists, like the Grammys is set up to where, like, it's industry favorites. It's not about what we actually accomplish as artists in terms of record sales, impact, merch sales, ticket sales. We could be killing it over everybody, and someone else is going to get that Grammy if the people voting like this person better. So that's why when, so many years you had people pissed off that, certain groups didn't get it because they had been having a great year, and sometimes the Grammys go to people they don't even know.
right.
And so, it's the industry stamp on their favorites. It's not about what you've achieved as an artist, your successes. It's got nothing to do with that. That would be more like the People's Choice Awards, or the
Sure.
Billboard Awards, or something like
Right.
that,
Billboard Music
where
Award.
it's based on your charting, your success on your charting and all that stuff. The Grammys and the Oscars, it's based off of industry favorites, and we were the favorites until we weren't.
Well, you were,
When
but the next year you still got nominated. I'm going
Yes.
quickly through these because you got Salt and Pepper, None of Your Business, Arrested Development, Ease My Mind, Cypress Hill, I Ain't Going Out Like That, Heavy D, Nothing But Love, and Warren G and Nate Dogg's Regulate. Do you remember who won that one?
I mean, I don't remember. I think it was it Warren G.
No, sir, it was not.
Who the
Salt and
hell?
Pepper, None of Your Business got it.
Uh,
Love
you
them. I
know,
love Spinderella, but like Warren G, Regulate, come
yeah,
on.
Regulate should have had that. Sure, we sold more albums at the time because our whole thing was that we didn't spend time worrying about hit singles. We were worried about selling the albums, while
Yep.
others were worried about the singles and stuff like that. So, yeah, in terms of single action, yeah, Warren G should have had that all day, but maybe he didn't want to perform.
Maybe he didn't want to go up there. All
Yeah,
right, be
no.
real. Cypress Hill with the London Symphony Orchestra is coming out soon. What an unbelievable career. And as I tell you all the time, thanks for being so cool to me, man, over almost 30 years now. I really appreciate you and the guys.
Hey man, I love you, bro. You're my brother. And I constantly say this. I only do radio interviews with you, my man Big Boy, and my friend Letty over there at Power 106. Salute to them. They're my family, like you are my family. I don't come out much for it these days, but always for you, my friend.
That means so much, Be Real. Thank you, man. I can't wait to see you soon. Have a great rest of the day.
Hell yeah, man. See you
All
soon,
right.
brother. We
All
gotta
right,
get up.
Gabriel. Thank you
All right.
again. Hope you enjoyed. Now hit that subscribe button. And for more Tuna on Toast, listen wherever you get your podcasts.